Just over 2 years ago, we had a huge shake-up in Minecraft's gameplay, with the addition of a new range of ores for a new progression level in the game known as Netherite, something that you can find in the Nether dimension. In today's video, I've got a mod that aims to do the exact same thing, but for the end dimension, giving you another level of ores that is slightly better than Netherite and is slightly more difficult to get. This is available both on Fabric and Forge, though the Forge version is still on 1.18, whilst the Fabric version is available on 1.19. So heading into the end dimension, first we need to find the supposed ore, and well, today we're going to be using a bit of X-ray mod, mainly just so we can find and see how much it spawns just on the main end island alone. As we can see here, we can already spot a few in the distance over there if we float over towards this direction. We can see like a few little pieces just obscured along the distance. And let's go down to this one here. Now, it looks a lot like Netherite, doesn't it? As it's just more of a purple version of it. Now this little guy here will require a Netherite pickaxe, except there's one little catch to this, as what you need to do first is you need to crack this piece of Enderite. And now that the piece of Enderite has been cracked, we can go back to survival mode, and then now we can successfully mine this piece of Enderite. As you can see here, we got a piece of cracked Enderite ore. Now, in order to get this to our next level, we need to cook this ore inside of a blast furnace. This will not work in a normal furnace. Put that in the furnace, the cracked Enderite ore, it doesn't auto click into there. Just put it in there, put the coal in there, and as you can see, it doesn't cook. But it will cook inside of a blast furnace. So let's grab that and just chuck it in here. Anyhow, once you cook it in a blast furnace, you'll get yourself an Enderite scrap. You have to craft 4 Enderite scrap and 4 diamonds in a crafting table in order to create yourself a piece of Enderite ingot. Effectively, it's following the same methodology of Netherite. Moving further along, this kind of acts exactly like what Netherite ingots do. You can take these collection of Netherite tools as well as a bow, crossbow, and shield and slam it with a hammer on a smithing table, and you'll create yourself Enderite variations of all of this. And as you can see, we get a couple of advancements at the same time. And then that's all the tools upgraded. Now there's more that you can do with this piece of Enderite. Moving over here, we've got a few more crafting recipes that you also have. With 9 Enderite ingots, you can create yourself a block of Enderite. It's not really much, it's just it's basically just a different colored Netherite. But I think the more major things that we'll find is, first off, this little crafting recipe that requires 6 Enderite ingots and 3 Ender pearls, and create an Enderite spawn anchor. And then also another recipe is if we take 4 Enderite ingots and put it around a shulker box, we'll create an Enderite shulker box. Going into a normal shulker box, you can see you've got 3 lines of 9 slots in this inventory. And then inside of the Enderite shulker, you've got 5 lines of 9, allowing you to store a little bit more. The next big thing towards this pit as well is if we come over here with a piece of TNT and we just casually blow it up, as you can see, the shulker box is also invulnerable or far more resistant to TNT than a typical shulker box. Going into the end dimension again to showcase our little Enderite, I'm pretty sure you can gather what this piece of item is going to do. If you go in here and then if you go into the end dimension and get yourself an ender pearl, you need to right click this ender pearl in order to charge this item up. Now if we right click this, we can now set our spawn in the end dimension. So if you have, like, let's say this beautiful build out way out into the end dimension, like a huge mile away, you can now actually set your spawn out there if that's where you want to stay. Now this keeps getting a little bit better. So now we've got our 2 special items here. We've got an Enderite shield and Enderite sword. As you can see here, both of these also have charge numbers. In order to increase these charge numbers, take your Enderite sword or shield and smash it in a smithing table with some ender pearls, and you can give it some charge. Now what happens here is, let's say with a sword, if you right click and shift, you can teleport yourself. Right click and shift, you can teleport yourself using one of these charges without taking any form of health damage. And the same thing functions with the shield. It's basically the same deal. You grab it, you get your charge. Instead of teleporting you with this ability, when you get attacked, so let's say we summon ourselves a bit of a husky boy here, we shift and right click, suddenly the husk is over there. We can't hold right click though. This will reset your shield for a hot moment before you can even use it again. So right click and boom, he's over there again. He teleports away. And one last item that we can collect here is a combination of some of everyone's favorites. We got an elytra and an Enderite chestplate. What you can now do is if you put an Enderite chestplate and elytra in the crafting table, you can finally craft yourself Enderite elytra chestplate. This can only be done with the Enderite chestplate and not done with any other chestplate whatsoever. Now there's a special little attribute that comes with all of these special items. As you can see with typical gear, you throw it, it falls down to the ground. Now like with Netherite, how it's got the invulnerability to any form of fire damage, Enderite items float. Instead of falling down, they will float up, which will add this little bonus neat little thing is that they can't actually fall into the void. Instead, they will float above the void peacefully, meaning that you can reclaim these items if you do so happen to die in the void. An Enderite shulker box, throw it out there, it does the exact same thing, meaning that all the items inside of that shulker box are perfectly fine. You won't lose them to the void, you will be fine. At the same time, you'll also have additional abilities, well, known as void floating. This enchantment can be enchanted on all sorts of things. This basically will apply this effect onto every other item in the game if you so choose it. As now we've died in there, we're gonna have to go back to the overworld quickly. As you can see, the stuff that I had on me, including the item that was enchanted with void floating, is here, ready for me to collect. Again, you have to actually make your way down to this height where they're going to be floating about, but this will pretty much mean that you can enchant all your items with void floating and give them the possibility of surviving whenever you fall down into the void. If you made it all the way through here, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. It'll do me a solid. We're so close to 50,000 subscribers. But anyway, I'll see you guys in a few days for the next Origin Showcase. Bye bye!